Ah, yes. Well, she's working outside. I'm working inside. Getting ready to install the garbage disposal. I got to install a garbage disposal and a sink strainer before I connect all the pipes together to run them out of that drain in the wall. And so this particular video is about how to install a sink strainer. And this is what they call a sink strainer, and that's going to fit down in there. And there's a nut here. I don't really like this kind. See this big nut here? You've got to screw that on underneath, and then I got to use some big channel locks. So I can't really do it myself because then somebody has to come in here and hold this side with a pair of needle nose so it doesn't want to keep twisting and all that kind of stuff. I like the kind where there's a round ring on the back side and there's screws, and then you tighten the screws from down below, and then that pulls this in. I think, yes, the old sink was that way, and the garbage disposal is going to be like that. But the sink, let's just show you. This is the old sink that I pulled out of there. Okay, where is it? Here we go. You see? You see this here? You fit that on in such a manner, and then you screw it down on the back side. And as you're screwing it, it fits up against here, and it actually pulls the sink strainer tight and tight to the bottom of the sink, you know, just by tightening these up. And see, that's how you do a garbage disposal like this, and that's how the new garbage disposal is going to be. It's going to have something exactly like this on there, and you put that on there, and you finagle it on just right. And then when you tighten these screws, it pulls everything down from the top side and pulls it on nice and tight. Then you can do it yourself. But see, the way I've got to do it is I've got to get Mommy to help me. And that's okay. I'll get her to help me in a few minutes. Because this particular one, see, it's got the big threaded nut on the back side. And you know, if I had a choice, I would have gotten the other kind. But this came with the stainless steel sink. When we purchased the stainless steel sink, it came with 2 sink strainers. Okay, here's one there. Here's another one over here. It came with these 2 deals here. It came with some mounting clips. It also came with some covers that fit over the top of this. That's kind of slick. There's a little basket strainer in there, and then there's a little deal here in case you want to fill the sink up with water. Okay, and that all came with the stainless steel sink. So by Joe, I am going to use this, okay? And the way to install that is with plumber's putty. Here it is, right here. Plumber's putty, and you take it, and I'm gonna roll it out here in a minute, and I'll show you how that works, okay? I'm gonna do that next. Okay, so this sink strainer, this whole thing is called a basket strainer. See? And it gives you the installation directions and everything. See, here's the big nut, and then there's a rubber washer and a white washer. So I'm going to unscrew that off of there. And then see, you put the putty on here. Use about a handful of putty, plumber's putty, and work it to create a ring approximately the same size as the sink's hole. Place the putty around the edge of the sink's hole. Well, I'm not going to put it around the sink's hole. I put it around the actual strainer, the basket strainer, and then put it all through there. Okay? And then from underneath the sink, place the foam washer on the strainer, push all the way up to the stem. Then do the same with the rubber washer. Place a lock nut on the base of the strainer. That's this nut down here. And screw all the way up to the strainer until tight. You may want to have someone use a pair of needle nose pliers to hold the strainer in place from above while you tighten the lock nut. Now you can place the basket in the strainer. The lid can then be placed on top of the strainer. Okay. So here's a nice little basket strainer. I kind of like that, how deep it is to keep food from going down in there. And now I've got to unscrew this. See, this is why you've got to have somebody hold it from the top, because for me to tighten this down underneath, that's going to be tricky in itself, because I'm going to get it hand tight. Then I've got to use my biggest pair of channel locks and hold it out like that so that I can grab this nut on two different spots to it so I can tighten it up. You know what I mean? And so that'll be after that. That's why I would rather prefer that other kind where you put it up in there, you position this exactly where you want it, and then you screw it down, and that just sinks it straight down. As I'm twisting this is going to want to turn. And so Mommy's going to help me here in a minute. Boy, come on now. Okay, so here's the white foam one, here's the black rubber one, like that. And see, for her to hold it, I just happen to have a pair of needle nose like this. I mean, if you didn't have one like this, if you used a small needle nose, you're going to have a hard time. You might be able to put two screwdrivers in there, long handled ones, and then put another one in between that, you know, to hold it, and then hold that straight that way. You see what I mean? But for this purpose, I'm gonna have her grab it like that, and then she's gonna hang on to it, and then I'm gonna take a pair. What am I gonna give her? A screwdriver. I think I got a big one. Oh man, I got a huge one. See? I can have her hold that like that. And then whichever way it twists, she's either going to hold it here or like that. And that's going to keep it from twisting. And see, if you didn't have a pair of needle nose like that, you could take a long screwdriver, put it in one of the holes, another long screwdriver on this side, and then you could put something in between it, you know, to hold it. But I don't have to do it that way. There's another way to do it, okay? So now I'm going to use this plumber's putty. This was only 88 cents at the store. Can you believe that? They had one that was about half the size of this, and years ago they didn't have it. But now they have it, and it's called stain free, and it's like almost $4 for a container about half this size. And I'm like, I don't need to use that stain free one. And so I'm just gonna grab some of this. And when I do the garbage disposal one, it's gonna be the same way on putting this. Okay, so I don't want to put this directly on the counter. I'm just going to use it like Play-Doh. Okay. And I don't know, it said grab a big lot of it. Now I can kind of put it together. And, you know, I might have to put a little bit more than that. Now I'm just going to kind of put it around that. Look at that. Okay, see? Like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want enough so that when you tighten this down, can you see this is all going to spooge out? Okay, so I'm almost ready. Look, that didn't take very long, did it? You don't have to be a plumber in order to do that. See there? That's why I like to put it on this and not on the sink rim. Okay, so now I'm going to put this down in the hole. And see, what I like to do is find the wording. This is Ruvati, and that was the stainless steel sink, and this came with the stainless steel sink unit. And I like to have that facing the same direction in here so I can read it. Okay, so I'm just going to put it down in there. And I'm going to have it here. It doesn't really matter if you forget to do that, if it's sideways. When's the last time you looked down in your sink to see if you could read the wording that's on the little sink strainer basket? Okay. All right, now I'm gonna put this in there like that, and I think I want it just a little bit tighter, so I'll make it just a hair. There, okay. I think that'll work. And there's a definite little rim around there. You want that sucked down, and see, the other thing is when I tighten this, it's going to want to have a tendency to slide this one way or another. So I've got to, when I get it fairly snug, I'm going to have to get back up here, see if it's straight, kind of see if I can grab this and slide it over a little bit, because there's going to be about a 1/16 of an inch reveal all the way around there when I get done. And then as that putty comes up, it's just going to spooge up around there. I'm going to wait until I get it done, or I tighten it up about halfway. I'll kind of trim some of that stuff off of there, and then I'll tighten up some more. Okay. So now I'm going to get underneath the sink, and I'm going to put this on there, and then I'm going to use my big, huge whopping channel locks to grab it, to turn it. Okay, I'm going to do it by hand as far as I can, and then Momi's going to be down here, and see, this big screwdriver may not work in here, depending, and so I've got a smaller screwdriver for that. Let's see what I can do here. See, I can just use this. I can just have her use this one and hang on to that. Okay, so that's what I'm doing next, and that's pretty much all there is to tightening one of these things up. You see how that works? I've got that down in there. Now I'm going to hold this in here, whichever way it goes. Hold it here, or I might have to flip it around and have her hold it that way. Whichever way she needs to do it when I start spinning it. I've got the wording facing right there, and now I'm gonna put this underneath there. Okay, this up first, then this, then my nut, and crank her down.